As Foreign Minister sitting there, we highlighted both the illegality and barbaric nature of Russia's war and also the devastating impact it is having on people around the world through higher food and energy prices. We have a responsibility to work with our G20 allies to fix the global economy, to grip inflation, but also to safeguard and preserve the international order, and that's what we're going to do.
Well, earlier this year, the vast Azovstal steelworks in Mariupol became a symbol of Ukrainian resistance, withstanding bombardments from Russian forces for weeks on end, while hundreds of civilians sheltered under the site. Its destruction has been a blow for its owner, Metinvest, which is the country's largest steel producer. But the company is still producing steel elsewhere in Ukraine, and it's still helping the country's war effort, as its chief executive, Yuri Ryzhenkov, told me.
Well, from the first days of this full-scale invasion, both of our shareholders, they decided the company should fully support the Ukrainian armed forces and fully support the defensive things that we're doing. So we've, apart from just using our equipment to build the defense lines, we designed the new ways to produce armored steel, which is now used in the bulletproof vests. We supplied more than 150,000 bulletproof vests to the Ukrainian army in territorial defense. We also developed new steel bunkers that can be used in the field to keep the soldiers warm and protected from the shelling. Apart from that, we also been buying and supplying the army with various equipment like the trucks, like the armored vehicles, like the thermal imaging equipment, radios. So all the stuff like that, which is very needed by our defenders in the field.
I gather President Zelensky has threatened to take some businesses into state control that he doesn't feel are supporting the war efforts enough. I was quite surprised to learn that, because I would assume most businesses were.
I think most businesses are, actually, and I heard that also on the news, and I was really surprised that there are some businesses that are not prepared to support the war effort in Ukraine, that are not fully committed to the Ukrainian victory. But if there are businesses like that, then definitely in the war times they have to be nationalized.
And most people in this country know you for the Azovstal plant in Mariupol, but you do have other sites elsewhere across Ukraine, including one in Zaporizhia. How are they operating right now?
Well, we have two steel mills still in Ukraine, one in Zaporizhia, another one in Kamenskoye. They're both operating right now. We're operating at about 50 to 60% capacity. Those are the places where we're making those armored plates, and those are the places where we make the steel bunkers and so on and so forth.
And how about your non-Ukrainian operations? How have those been trading?
They've had some disruptions in the beginning, mainly because they were relying on semi-finished goods from Azovstal to run. But since then, we've diversified the sources of semi-finished goods that we're using for re-rolling. For example, here in the UK, we have slabs that are being supplied by British Steel now, by ThyssenKrupp. In Italy, it's ADI. So we found various suppliers that can provide us with the necessary volumes and necessary products.
So the industry is being quite supportive then, where it can be?
Well, we are all in the same boat here. The steel industry is very, I'm not saying friendly, it's as competitive as it can be. But when it comes to the support, we are all colleagues and we understand how we can support each other in this.
Now, obviously, Mariupol remains under Russian occupation. How difficult is it to get a handle on what's going on the ground there?
We know very little about what's happening in Mariupol right now. There are still quite a lot of people there, and we do have daily contacts with them, but there's very little that they can say about what's going on in the city. From what I understand, there is no, the power supply is unstable, there is no water, there is no heating. So it's a humanitarian tragedy right now in the city.
And I gather the company is seeking compensation from the Russian government through the international courts.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are pretty sure that we should get all the damages from the Russians and reinvested in the Ukrainian plans to restore them to operations.
Now, in the meantime, you're selling bracelets which contain steel from the last production run at Azovstal.
Yeah, that's true. I have one of the bracelets.
Yeah.
Well, I have one in It's not a commercial, but but I'll show you. This is the bracelet from Azovstal. That's what it looks like.
This is fantastic.
It's got the Ukrainian coat of arms engraved there, and I'm saying that this is the most valuable piece of steel you will ever see in the world, because it's from the last batch of Azovstal. We joined with the presidential initiative United 24, the New Post company in Ukraine, and Savar jeweler to produce those bracelets. So all the jewelers obviously produced the bracelet. We provided the steel, and the New Post distributed them throughout Ukraine. And the proceeds from that were used by United 24 fully to support the Ukrainian armed forces. This specifically, the first few batches were sold to buy drones for the army, and they're already been purchased, supplied, and they're already in the front line.
So how much of the steel made in Azovstal previously found its way to the UK?
Well, I'm pretty sure that any UK citizen seen the works of Azovstal. I mean, if you look behind you, the buildings in the city, all of them has at least 50 to 60% of Azovstal steel in it, including those like the Walkie-Talkie building, the Shard building. All of them have Azovstal. In reality, even outside of UK, quite a lot of people know what Azovstal is. Well, it's a tragedy that Azovstal has became known to the world when it was destroyed, when it became the fortress. When there are lots of landmark things were made by Azovstal during it was there in operation, like for example Panama Canal doors, they're made out of Azovstal steel. We have most of the cruiser ships on the Mediterranean, it's actually Azovstal. The safe confinement over Chernobyl, that's also Azovstal. So there are lots of applications which were done by that mill.
I find myself getting quite emotional there thinking about that. Who knew that steel could tug at the heartstrings like that?